Yeah, good evening, guys. I want to say um, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I want to actually say, or first of all, let me introduce myself. This is Analysis King. This is Analysis King. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my subscribers for actually watching or taking out time to actually watch the videos. I hope the videos has been actually helpful. I hope the videos has helped you to improve your trading, right? So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please and please, if you're a new viewer, please help me to subscribe, help me to subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button on beside the subscription, right? Beside the subscription button, hit the thumbs up if you like what you see, right? Hit the thumbs up and also turn on your notification buttons to know when I actually post the video, right? And please try and comment. Try and comment. Like, tell me if you're actually enjoying the video. If you're not enjoying the video, tell me, right? So let the comment section be a little bit engaging, right? So, um, right. So let's get into the video today. What I'm actually going to talk about is basically how what I did when I took my GBP JPY trade, and also I'm actually going to be teaching how to analyze the market properly, right? How to analyze the market properly, what you need to see, right, before you actually take any trade, going from the monthly to the weekly to the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the lower time frame for your entries. Right? So we're going to do that step by step, right? So this basically is all about how to analyze the market properly and also how I took my DJ trade. So let's get into the video, right? So I'm actually going to be going to DJ, right? So I'm going to be telling you what I actually saw. This was the trade that I took, right? This was the trade that I took, right? Let me share the screenshot of the trade. Um, let me share the screenshot of the trade that I took. Sorry. Yeah, so these are live accounts, right? As you guys can see, this is a live account. This was the GJ trade that I took that I sold short. This is 5,000. This is almost 11,000 that was made, right? So this is actually the GJ trade that I took. I closed this trade for 180 pips, and I was good. I was good for the trade, right? So I don't want to overload, or I don't want to hold my trade for too long, right? So although sometimes I hold my trade for 2 days, 3 days, but for this particular one, I don't want to hold it for too long. I took out what I had to take and I left the market, right? So this is the GJ trade that I actually took. Now we're going to go through the process of how I actually took the trade, right? How I took the trade. The first thing that I actually saw I went to was my weekly time frame, right? The first thing I saw or I went to was my weekly time frame, right? Now we can actually see from the weekly time frame that we are in a consolidation, right? From from the higher time frame perspective, although you can actually see that we are in a downtrend, right? So we are in an uptrend. Why? If you look at it very closely, we can see that structure has been broken, right? Structure has actually been broken right around this region. Sorry, not this region. You can see clearly that structure has been broken, right, to give us a continuation that we are actually in a buy trade, right, on GJ, right? So, but when I went to the weekly, what I saw, the first thing that I saw is I first of all looked at how the week closes, right? How did the week close? Now look at what they actually did. They came back down, right? They opened the candle. Once they opened the candle, they came back down. They took out liquidity that was below this region. About remember what I actually said about double bottoms and double tops, right? If you don't on the, if you've not seen that video, you can actually watch. You can go to my playlist and actually see the videos that I made on double tops and double bottoms, right? So where I talked about how to spot liquidity, right? So you can actually see what they did. They came back to this region, they tapped out liquidity and they reversed, right? They tapped out liquidity and they reversed. They tapped out these double bottoms, right? Around those double bottoms, we have liquidity in the market. We have a lot of sellers or a lot of buyers putting their stop losses around this region, right? So the big money or the big banks, they came back into this region because they know that this region right here, this region right here is the highest form of liquidity, right? What they actually look for on the charts, the big banks, the market makers, whoever you want to call them, what they actually look for on the chart is they look at where is the highest order. The highest order, we have the highest order here, which is the double top, double bottom rather. And we also have the highest order here, which is actually this double top, which will be tapped out very soon, right? Or they will tap from this double, they will tap this double top and they will reverse. So this was basically what I saw, right? I saw that they've taken out liquidity on the weekly when this week actually closed, right? So this was basically what I actually saw on the weekly candle. I said, okay, fine. I'm actually going to be very careful around this candle because I didn't like how this candle closed, right? It closed as a spinning top. It didn't close as a bullish or as a pin bar, right? If this candle closed like this, let me use this as an example. If this candle has closed like this, if it had closed like this, I would have been very, very interested in buying, right? I would have known that, okay, fine. These people want to actually take price to the upside, saying that they've actually closed this particular week with a bullish engulfing candle. But instead, they pushed price down, right? They pushed price down, closing like this. Let me bring it here so that you see it, right? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Now this was how they closed, right? This was basically how they closed, right? They pushed price down, right? For me, all I was looking at this candle was there is still a contention between the buyers and the sellers, right? The buyers they've not won this market yet. So once I actually saw this, I knew what I was looking for, right? When I went to the daily, right? And I went to the daily, I saw that okay, we are actually on the daily, we are actually in a supply region. Now, remember what I told you about supply and demand. You want to actually see structure. Now, if you look very closely from the low, right? If you look very closely from this particular low, you can see that price has taken out structure. The first thing, like I actually explained in my past videos, the first thing that I said was, if you want to know a valid supply or a demand zone, the first thing you want to see is you want to see a clear trend. The second thing you want to see is you also want to see a break of market structure. Now we have seen a break of market structure, and the third thing you want to actually see is this momentum candle. Now you can see that price gave us this momentum candle. Every criteria was met, right? Then I now went back to my 4-hour, right? I went back my 4-hour. I knew that these guys have broken structure, right? From the daily, right? We've gotten the daily buyers already as a sell because we know that they've actually taken a liquidity. They've broken out structure with this particular move, right? They've taken out liquidity from this particular move. So all I was expecting at this point here, I was expecting a deep retracement to come back to this region to sell. Now, if you look very closely, why I was really spotting this region or why I was really interested in this region was this particular move. Remember what they actually did? They came back into this daily. This is the daily. The daily supply zone. Now, what they did is that they came back into this daily. They mitigated their orders around this daily. They've taken out some orders right around this daily. Let's assume that they have $1 billion in this particular daily supply zone. All they did was they've tapped out this particular supply zone. They've taken out 40% right of that 1 billion. Taking out 40% of that 1 billion, they now created another supply zone, right? They created another move back to the downside. Why did I say this particular region was a supply region? If you look very closely, you have seen that they've taken out structure, right? This is the structure they've taken out, right? If you look very closely, you see that price has been creating a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows, right? So you can see that they created this, they moved, created this high, low, high, low, high, low. Now, all they did was to take out this particular, this is what people don't see, right? People don't see all these particular regions as liquidity in the market, right? People don't go back to the higher time frame. They don't dissect the market. All you just go to is go to your 1 hour and trade. Trading is not really done like that. You need to learn how to dissect the market from a higher perspective, right? From a higher perspective, from a monthly to the weekly to the daily, back to your 4 hour, to your 1 hour, down to your smaller time frame for your entries, right? Now, all I saw when they broke, when they came back into this region, they took out, they mitigated this block, they dropped drastically, taking out structure. Now they've taken out structure around this region, right? They've taken out structure here. Now all I was looking for was a sell. Why? Because they've taken out the last, this was the last low that made the high. The last low that made the last high, they've taken it out, right? They took out the last high, they took out the last low. They've not broken the high. Until this high was broken, I will not be interested in buying. But what they did was they came back, they rushed this low, giving us a clue that they were going back to the downside. Once they rushed this low right here, I came back to my 4 hour and I marked the zone, right? I marked this zone. Then I now went back to my 1 hour to check, to be really, very sure about that zone. Now we can actually see that they actually cleared the zone on the 1 hour. Now, if you look at this 4 hour zone, you can see that it was actually a double bottom, right? Sorry, excuse me. You can actually see that it is a double bottom. They took out liquidity from this particular region and they went back to the downside, right? They actually pushed price back through the downside. They're taking out liquidity from here. All I was waiting for, like I said, that anytime they take out liquidity, they will look for a particular demand zone, right? They will look for a demand zone to take price back up. But they didn't take price back up immediately. They wiped it back down again, taking out the highest, taking out the major structure. This was the major structure, taking out the major structure from a higher time frame. Remember that you should always have the higher perspective structure also before the medium structures, right? Remember, like I said in my previous videos, that price is actually fractal. That you would see, you might see a bullish move on the daily. The same thing you see on the daily is what you will actually see on the smaller time frame, right? So basically, this is what we are actually seeing. We actually saw a huge move back to the upside. You can see that it is the same thing on the lower time frame, right? Now, what they did, they whipped out this particular stop loss, right? Or this equal lows. They came back down, came back into that region where I was looking for sales, and they went back to the downside. Now, this was where I closed the trade. I closed the trade around 180 pips, right? 180 pips was where I closed the trade. My stop loss was 21 pips, right? So my stop loss was I was swinging the trade, so that's why I actually had my stop loss as 21 pips. But if I go back to my 5 hour, right? Sorry, 5 minutes rather, or let's go to my 15 minutes. They didn't give us a clear structure on the 15 minutes, right? So, but on the 4 hour, my stop loss was around 21 pips, right? It was around this region, right? My stop loss around 21 pips, and I closed it for one. This was basically a 1:9 trade. So I closed it for 11,000, right? So this was how I took my trade on GG. But this is how I took my trade on GG. The first thing you want to actually do is you want to analyze the market. the first thing you want to do is you actually want to go back to your monthly time frame, right? Now, let's look at USD CAD, right? Let's analyze USD CAD and let's see what we actually need to see on USD CAD, right? Now, if you look very closely, you will see that the momentum to the upside is actually fading on USD CAD. How is the momentum fading? The momentum is fading by the closing of these candles on the monthly time frame. Look at this. We are not closing as big bullish candles. We are closing as this wick. And also remember that we are also heading into a supply region, right? We are also heading into a supply region, right? So, but we can see that the momentum is fading, is constantly fading because of the close, right? Price came back, took out 3 months high, right? Took out 3 months high, closed below it, right? This close right here shows me a fade in momentum. But so all I'll be looking for on USD CAD, I'll be looking for sales, right? Because the candles right here are actually showing me that the momentum is actually fading by these wicks. It's closing with wicks. It's not closing as big bullish engulfing candles, just like this candle, but it's closing as wicks, right? Showing that the momentum is getting lost, right? So let's go to weekly. If you go to the weekly, you can actually see the same thing on the weekly. Now, if you go to the weekly, we are still inside this monthly order block, right? Inside the monthly order block, like I said, like I actually did in my refining videos, right? Inside the monthly order block, we also have a weekly order block. Now you can see that this particular region was a weekly order block, right? This was a weekly order block inside a monthly order block. Now we have an order block inside an order block to give us a solid confirmation to actually go short on USD CAD, right? Now let's go to the daily. Now, if you go to the daily, we are still inside this particular monthly order block and inside the weekly order block. Now, we can also see that inside the weekly order block, we also have this particular order block right here, right? We can see that why is that place an order block? Because price has broken structure. Structure has been taken out here. Structure has been taken out. Structure has been taken out. So this particular region right here was a clear order block, right? To give us more signals to actually sell USD CAD, right? So you can see how price came back into the 4-hour order block. Now, this was the 4-hour order block on USD CAD, right? You can see the sell, right? You can see how we came from our monthly time frame to our weekly to our daily. We went from our monthly, we identified momentum first. When we identified the momentum, then we look for our order blocks, right? We look for our whether it's a supply, whether the market is in a push phase, is in an uptrend, or is in a downtrend. We can actually see that the momentum was actually fading from the monthly. We was fading from the monthly going to the upside. So all we were looking for was sales, right? So we went to the weekly. We actually saw another order block inside the monthly order block, right? We went to the daily and we were also now into the 4-hour. Now inside the 4-hour, we have this particular order block, right? This particular supply region, right? We can see that this particular place was supply region, right? Because we have the rally, we have this base, and we have the drop, right? The last bullish candle before the drop. This was an order block. Now, I'm going to my 1 hour to give me more confirmations to actually sell, right? So I'm going to give a bonus trade on this. I'm actually looking for sales on this region right here on USD CAD, right? Why am I looking for sales on USD CAD from this region? Remember, like I told you, that you need to understand structure. Now we've gone from the higher time frame perspective. Now we are back in the 1 hour. Now on the 1 hour, you can see clear structures, right? Structure has been broken here. One structure broke here. Structure has been taken out here. Now you can see this big move, right? This particular move right here, this particular supply zone has been validated by breaking of this structure. Once this structure has been broken, right? You can see now that this particular region right here has been validated because of this structure. But this particular supply zone, I will not take this particular supply zone. Why? Because structure has not been broken, right? Structure has not been cleared completely. I want to see a clear structure that made this move, right? The structure has not been, until this structure has been cleared completely, then I'll be looking to sell. But my overall sell that I'll be taking on USD card will be this region. So I'll be looking for a sell on USD card from this region right here, right? To sell USD card, right? Before going back down. All I'm anticipating is that they should use this region as a point of liquidity, right? They should use this region as a point of liquidity, form a double top around this region, form a double top around this region, spike them out, then they come back into this region and sell. So this is basically how to analyze, and this is basically what you need to do, right? Before you enter the markets, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned one or two things from this video. If you actually like this video, give the video a thumbs up, right? If you actually want to join my Telegram group, the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below if you want to join my Telegram group. If you want to join my mentorship group, the link also is in. You can contact me using my Telegram group, right? And I will see you in the next video. Cheers and God bless.